My name is Caleb, and this is my story. I'm 22 years old from McClure, Ohio. In my free time, I enjoy boating and mainly working with my hands. Initially, I'd found a kind of tender spot on the top of my head, and from there, it had progressed into a larger tender spot, and then eventually sort of a raised area on the back of my head. At the previous facility I was at, they brought me in, and I had a checkup with my primary care. And they basically told me that it's probably an infection. You should go home, wash your bed sheets, keep it clean. And deep down, I knew that it was more than that because I could tell that it felt internally, not something on the surface.
Over the next 2 weeks, the spot became larger and raised, and he subsequently reached out to one of the local primary providers at our hospital who obtained a CT scan. So the CT scan revealed a punched out lesion of the skull that was concerning for something eroding the bone. The decision was made to take him to the operating room and remove the affected area of the skull.
When I sat down with Dr. Hollis, he explained it to me as like a growth of cells that he doesn't know what they are. And there was two options of finding out what they were. It was either to take a needle biopsy or to just remove it and then figure out from there what it was. And I decided to go with the full removal and then biopsy the mass that was removed.
So going into the procedure, we didn't know the extent of the process. The biggest concern was, is this a solitary process or has it spread elsewhere? And so by getting the pathology of the process known, we then had a better idea of how to both search for it and to know how to monitor it or treat it.
After the tumor was removed, I was referred to oncology to see Dr. Thomas.
When I first met Caleb, he was already diagnosed with a condition called Langerhans cell histiocytosis. So at the time we had met, he had had his surgery and was already diagnosed.
And he did a very good job of explaining to me what it was, and he went very much out of his way because it's a rare disease and not very many doctors get to see it. So he was very adamant about finding me answers, even if it meant going out of his way to find them.
Histiocytosis in general are very rare conditions. Typically they occur in children, and the average age is between 1 and 3 years old of diagnosis. So to see an adult with a new diagnosis of histiocytosis, it does happen, but it is very uncommon. And in a small community like Findlay, it would be something that we would see very rarely.
With histiocytosis being so rare, Dr. Thomas has suggested that we go to Mayo Clinic for an e-consult.
So Mayo Clinic has a collaboration with Blanchard Valley Hospital, and there's a number of resources we can take advantage of. One is called an e-consultation, which is where we submit information from the patient's case, including scans, pathology, and then a provider can review those and provide written documentation to us of their recommendations. We also have the ability to contact them in person and discuss the case in detail. And so for Caleb's case, we did submit an e-consult, and an expert in the field for Langerhans cell histiocytosis and histiocytic disorders did review his case and provided some reassurance, essentially, that the care had been proper, surgery was recommended, and that we needed to just observe him closely going forward.
Looking back on it, I probably would have went straight to Blanchard Valley and sought medical care because they were thorough, communicated well, and handled everything in a timely manner.
I think the biggest take-home message with this case is that a coordinated team that's willing to communicate with each other can get the patient taken care of quickly. To me, that's ideal healthcare.
Post-surgery recovery went very well, and from there, I've been clear-headed and haven't had really any complications at all, and now I'm back to normal life.